Hello everyone and welcome to episode 17 / part 1 of a 2-part special on E3 on Top Chat Podcast, gaming podcast, Top Chat. It's been a while since I've done this, as you can tell. My name's Matt, and joining me and looking at me thinking, what the fuck's happened to this guy, is my good friend and co-host, it's Joe.
Alright, mate.
That was good, I like that one this week.
Got it back.
Before we go any further, there's been some changes made to your regularly scheduled podcast. So originally, Top Chat started out as kind of your basic gaming podcast. We would begin by discussing what we've been playing, which we're still going to do. Then we would move on to the news, and then we would cover a main topic. But we've decided that's no longer for us, is it?
No, we've evolved.
We have evolved.
We've matured.
So Top Chat Part 2.
Jeez.
Oh wait, I probably shouldn't say that because now it's very confusing. Top Chat Reborn, if you like, because we're not going to talk about news anymore. Because quite frankly everyone does. We're never first to anything, so it's kind of irrelevant anyway.
And there's always even though there's not a lot of news some weeks and we're like, oh, there's shit all news, that can be a massive week in news for stuff that we don't give a shit about. So
yeah, precisely.
It's hard doing the news was hard to be like, what's relevant
and what can we be asked to talk about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And most of the time we read news stories and we're like, haven't really got a lot to say about that, to be honest. So we just
that's mainly my bad on that one. But yeah, we're scrapping news from now on. If you want gaming news, then why were you listening to us anyway? Because like I said, we were never first to the punch. So yeah, that's gone. Instead, what we're going to do is hope that you lot pull your finger out and get in touch. So we want more audience participation, which I know is saying a lot, given that we don't really have a huge audience at the moment. Speaking of which, if there's any of you listening right now who have come because of the Fizzy podcast... Wow, I interviewed the guy, I still get his name wrong. The Fishy podcast.
Dislike this video.
Sorry, mate, he might
Top
even
Chat is cancelled.
Yeah, if you've come because of that interview I did with Fishy, thanks very much for sticking around. I know a couple of people commented saying that they subscribed, so thanks for that. It does mean a lot to us because we're still trying to grow, aren't we?
We are indeed.
We are. So, I've lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
Audience participation.
Oh, that's it. Thanks, mate. We're back on track. So, yeah, we just want more suggestions, by which I mean things that we can talk about, but we want to talk about things that you've talked about. I've made a right hash of that. So, not subjects that are just like our favourite games or games that we want to come back, or, you know, it's not all about us, basically.
Yeah, and for example, in recent weeks, we've done podcasts on our biggest gaming pet peeves and our favourite video game music.
Yeah.
And we've sort of done a call to arms on our Reddit, which is Top Chat Gaming Podcast, where we've asked people for their quick favourite.
Sorry, it's Top Chat Games Podcast.
Top Chat Games Podcast.
Yeah.
Just to make everything confusing.
Yeah.
Our YouTube is Top Chat Gaming Podcast.
Yeah.
But we've
brand identity.
We've had feedback and people's suggestions on that, and we read that out on the show, just to sometimes we forget things, a bit of inspiration for us as well, and it's just nice to have a bit of back and forth and not just us talking into a microphone.
Yeah, we do enjoy it. I should say as well, it's been quite a while since we've actually done this, isn't it?
It is. We had a little bit of a break.
We did. We had a break. We had a rethink. We worked on some other things, one of which was the Fishy interview / podcast. Which was fantastic. So we'll go into detail in a minute about what we've got coming up. But yeah, more from you guys if possible. So you can follow us on Twitter as well. It's at Top Chat Podcast. That is right, isn't it?
Yeah. So that one hasn't got games or gaming in it. It's just Top Chat Podcast. Top Chat.
Yeah, I'm thinking of just getting rid of the games and gaming from all of the branding, to be honest. But I think for now, who really cares? So the news is going. Bottom line, news is gone. Sayonara, we're not doing it anymore. Can't be asked, shouldn't have to. We are going to continue doing topics. However, yeah, podcasts, I feel like they always go better, or the more recent ones have gone a bit better because of the feedback from, and then they weren't even fans, to be honest. They were just people that I threw something out on Reddit and a few people replied. I say a few, it's about 30 odd each time, and I read them out, and it made for a more interesting...
Exactly, because sometimes there's a bit more nuance to people's ideas, and
they really were,
other sides to things that we don't even think about.
There were some properly cliche ones.
Yeah, I mean,
that's niche, not cliche. I'm getting my shays wrong.
We live together and we've got very similar gaming interests, I feel. So sometimes... Well, no, we've got subtle differences, but to the large part we play like sort of 3D open world action games. So like sometimes there's a little bit of like not a staleness, but
it's just a breath of fresh air, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, get involved.
It's like opening your window after doing a dirty fart.
Okay, lovely. So you can find us on Twitter, So it's at Top Chat Podcast, and the Reddit for now is Top Chat Games Podcast. So yeah, get involved, follow us, and whatever else. And you'll be tweeting, I'll be redditing. I actually put a couple out earlier that no one answered, but I think I just timed them terribly.
Yeah.
But not to worry. So, touched on this a minute ago. What have we got coming up? So, I am currently working on a FIFA video.
A FIFA video.
Which I'm very excited to release. I don't know how well it's going to do, but basically, we play FIFA a lot. We decided to record, not camera record, but we recorded the gameplay and then recorded us narrating / shouting at each other whilst playing FIFA, and we did the upcoming Champions League final. So Spurs v Liverpool, and it was
FIFA 18, not 19, FIFA 18. Unfortunately.
It was a riot. I've had a lot of fun editing that one and getting it ready, so that's going to go live probably early next week.
We want to do some gameplay ones. We haven't actually got any capture equipment, so we're just using the built-in PlayStation one, which is actually doing okay. It does the job.
It's working for us. Yeah.
It's not like 4K or anything. I think it's 720. But you know, 10 years ago that would have been great.
Yeah, it's doing all right. So that's coming up. Yeah, I'll probably upload that at some point next week, because then that's the week of the final, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're basically predicting what's going to happen. Although I hope that what we had happen doesn't happen in real life.
Well, we'll beg to differ on that one.
Okay, we do. Well, find out for yourselves when that's released. I've got a Topinion coming out. Probably by the time you've heard this, it'll already be out. I need to strike while the iron is hot, as they say, because it's a topical one, and it's about plagiarism versus referencing. So where do you draw the line between the two? What's plagiarism and what's an artistic nod?
Interesting.
Of appreciation. Yeah, well, it's because this game, Yick, has been called out excuse me, for apparently it did quite blatantly plagiarise a Japanese writer. So I kind of just go in on it and I give my opinion on what I think is plagiarism, what isn't, the issues behind it, and so on and so forth. So yeah, go and check that out.
I haven't heard about that, so I'll have to check that out myself.
No, I just made it yesterday. I was looking at what's in the news. I thought I could talk about that.
Okay.
It was either that or Tifu suing FaZe, and I just don't care. Just don't care enough.
I don't know anything about that.
I wrote a script for it, and I thought, you know what, shouldn't have to. I'm just not.
Literally shouldn't.
Not interested. It's a 5-minute, as in like, not 5-minute video, but it's a 5-minute story where next week everyone will have forgotten about it. You say that now, it's going to be, I say that rather. It's probably going to last forever, isn't it? And it's an opportunity missed, but. Don't care. Not interested.
If you're new, by the way, our Topinion series is about once every 2 weeks. We take it in turns to release like a sort of mini 10-minute-ish video essay thing about different topics.
We're pumping them out a bit more regularly than that at the moment.
Yeah, we've done quite well recently. I think we've got about 6 episodes each, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Your last one was ranking the Pokemon games. I was talking about the state of the Fallout games.
Yeah.
Just sort of things like that. I've got a new one coming up, which is going to be predicting where Fallout 5 could be set. I sort of hinted at that in my last one.
Will it be a post-apocalyptic wasteland?
You know what, it might be.
It might just be.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
It might just be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Cracked it, mate. You don't need to make the video anymore.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that's a shame.
What's your other one about? Have you got 2 in the works, do you say?
No.
Oh, I swear you just said. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, well, I haven't got anything else other than that coming up, but that's 3. 3's alright, isn't it?
Well, I've got quite a lot of videos coming out, and I just want to give a little bit of a round of applause to your interview this week. I've just listened to it today.
Thank you.
Very good. Very well done.
Yeah, he's a top lad, Fishy.
Thank you, Fishy, for coming on.
It felt like talking to a friend in many ways.
Oh, you wouldn't know what that's like normally.
No, you're quite well. Yeah, maybe that's why I'm confused. But yeah, no, if he's listening, he probably isn't. But that's absolutely fine. Yeah, just thanks again, mate. It was nice to talk about.
I mean, if you somehow missed that on our channel, go check that out.
Oh yeah,
by far our best piece of content, I think.
Possibly. And also, while you're there, comment who you'd like us to get in touch with and try and interview, because I've got a couple of people in mind. But like we were saying earlier about the viewer feedback, it's always good to get a bit more input from elsewhere rather than just me and my like 5 people that I watch.
Yeah, sometimes I sort of forgot that you were quite the dab hand at presenting and journalism sometimes.
I'm a qualified journalist.
You are,
Not
exactly.
to the extent of our friend Michael, but
no, but
slightly less than him. However, I am a qualified journalist and,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
former radio broadcaster.
very, very smooth your interview skills, I think.
Thank you. Well, I mean,
Sometimes I can tell that because I know you.
yeah,
Just going a bit Welsh there.
yeah.
Phlegm
Going back
in
to
my
your
throat.
roots.
I could tell there's like sometimes, just because I know you, there was like, oh, you don't actually know anything about that.
Yeah. Well, he talks about Red Dead. And
Well, not even that, but like there's some games, or I think he hinted at the MCU, and I know you don't watch MCU.
Oh, I skipped over that completely.
But like you're a smooth customer, so you just like, yeah, nail it, absolutely nail it.
Move on to something I know I can talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I was on the radio for a while.
You
Forget
were.
that. I used to broadcast to about 20-odd thousand people
Now
between
you're
the hours
broadcast to
of
about
20.
2 odd.
Yeah, it's just you actually. So I just talk to you. Yeah, I used to do a midnight to 4 a.m. slot every now and then on my local radio station. Before they decided they didn't have the budget to give me a full-time job, which is absolutely fine.
That's a shame.
It's not a problem. Don't hold it against them at all.
They're gonna be sorry after they see.
They're going to be kicking themselves.
Yeah,
They're all middle-aged men, so they don't even know what a podcast is. No, I'm kidding. They were great. Anyway, we should probably move on to the main topic now, shouldn't we?
Wow, let's get on to what we've been playing, I guess.
Oh shit! Yeah, we haven't even done that. Wonderful. So, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I have been getting on with Mass Effect 3.
Good.
Fishy mentioned it in the interview.
Yeah. Is it Mass Effect 1 or 2 that's your favourite?
Mass Effect 1.
I thought so, but I didn't want to commit.
But I could possibly be changing that now. Since I've replayed Mass Effect 2 again. Because the most recent game I played when I remade that list was Mass Effect 1.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Mass Effect 2 was very good, but I kind of feel like I need to go back and play Mass Effect 1. I don't know, I'm confused. But Mass Effect 3 so far is pretty good. There's a lot of problems with it, like the quest system sucks balls. It's like there's just I'll just go speak to this person, and then like there's no like, I know like quest systems get a bit I don't know what the word is,
tedious.
Yeah, like with
monotonous,
with the whole waypoint things that people are getting a bit annoyed about, and the sort of check markers like you've done this bit, now go speak to this bit. But this one literally just gives you nothing. And like, I don't know, it's a bit confusing. Don't really like the quest system. It's less RPG, but then again, don't mind that so much in Mass Effect. Like, I'm not really there to like care so much about the levels of the weapons. I've got 3/4 of the way through the game without actually like upgrading any of my weapons, and then I just did it all in one. Like, I was like so rich, I was like, I've got to spend my money on something. It didn't really matter that much.
That's really weird. I've done the exact same thing with the game that I've been playing, which is, of course... Sorry, we can go back to that, but Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered.
Yeah.
I had so much money, and I was like... And I kept doing the in-game system where you can send out like convoys and trade stuff, and I was just getting more and more money, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I was like, well, hang on a minute. I'm not actually spending any of this. And I realised I'd got to DNA sequence 12 with just the base weapon. So I just went and bought them all.
Yeah, and now you feel like a god.
It makes no difference because the combat in that game is trash, kid. But oh well.
So Assassin's Creed 3.
So
Sequence
yeah,
12, that
we
sounds. I'm pretty much
Yeah, okay.
I'll be completing Mass Effect 3 soon. To be honest,
Lovely.
Pretty soon.
Well, likewise, I think that's what you were just about to hint at for me, isn't it? I think I'm either on 11 or 12, but there's 13 in total.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much done, which is great because then I'm going to go and
Then
buy.
you're a bit free from Assassin's Creed for the first time in a while.
The first time in about a. Oh my god. Well, because before Odyssey, I was playing Origins, and then I had a bit of a break where I played Bioshock, and what else did I play?
You were playing Fortnite for a bit, and Kingdom Hearts, I think.
Fortnite was before Origins, to be honest. I haven't played Fortnite in a hell of a long time. Oh yeah, I replayed a bit of Kingdom Hearts 2. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is my next purchase, but I also want to play Bioshock Infinite.
I really want to play the Bioshock games.
Well, yeah, we've had this discussion, I think, on the podcast before, because I would lend you them, but they're digital, so you just have to...
That's a shame, isn't it?
Borrow my PS4, I suppose.
Wow, speaking of which, so I haven't actually been able to play a lot of games in the last few weeks where we've had a break. First of all, I've been working a lot. But second of all, my pretty much non-gaming girlfriend has somewhat taken over my PlayStation.
Unacceptable.
I know.
This is fantastic.
She used to play like the old school Tomb Raider games, as like most of us did back in the day.
Yep.
And we were just trawling through the local CEX, and she saw. Oh,
excuse me. Excuse you.
Oh, that's the beer. Drinking Stella at this time.
Drinking Stella at 10 to midnight on a Wednesday.
On a school night.
On a school night, shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she saw the new Tomb Raider games, and she was interested in that. And she's previously like been interested in watching me play the Uncharted games, so she likes those kind of games. And yeah, she went and bought the first one, which is just called Tomb Raider. I think it was a remaster, 2013. And she's been going through that, obviously on easy difficulty. But it's just been...
we've had this discussion, haven't we? I think she's quite right to be doing it on easy difficulty. Yeah, of course,
exactly. That's a point I don't think we really brought up in that podcast where we spoke about like the necessity. That's a word.
It is a word, necessity.
I need to have another swig of Stella after that.
The necessity of easy mode for beginner players.
Exactly, yeah. Like, because what people don't forget, how hard it is to sort of learn that analog stick thing of moving and like looking around. Because like she was like, I don't know, against a boss, and like she panicked a little bit. Like you know when you used to play racing games, you move the controller all around. She was sort of doing that, but like she couldn't focus her aiming particularly well. And then I had a go, and then like the shift was ridiculous, just because it's second nature to us now. We've been playing games for so long that I was literally like bow and arrow, like aiming straight, headshot. While she like had to like,
oh, you're odd.
Oh no, right on easy mode on Tomb Raider.
On easy mode, yeah. Whereas she struggled.
Yeah, but I'm proud of her. She's a gamer now.
Well, she doesn't listen to this, so she's not a true gamer.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll bring her on one day.
Maybe.
Slaughter her with our knowledge.
I doubt she'd give a shit.
No, she wouldn't. She's so much smarter than me as well. She'd probably slaughter me anyway.
Alright, well anyway.
Yeah, she completed it last night as well. I think she's ready to go on to Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Wonderful.
I can't remember what it's called. There's
Legend of
the Tomb Raider, I think. And then it's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Something like that. But she's ready to go on the next one.
Cool.
I think. And also, I want to play Overcooked with her, because that looks like a fun old two-player game.
No. I've played Overcooked, and it's so unbelievably stressful. It just hammers home to me the fact that I like cooking and I like experimenting in the kitchen when I get the chance. But that game just really hammers home to me that I would hate to be a chef.
Well,
because the thought of it's horrible. And then you play Overcooked, and it's like being, Gordon Ramsay's little toe or something, because you're not really a chef because you're playing a game, are you? But it's so unbelievably stressful.
Well, it's apparently a good co-op game, so maybe give that a shot. So nothing on my PlayStation or on my TV, but on my Switch I've been carrying on with LA Noire. Literally was just playing it before I got down here.
Wonderful.
Really enjoying it. Not the most technically amazing game. Pretty dead open world for a Rockstar game, but there's a lot in it in a way, like in the game. A lot of the technology or the aspect is that facial animation thing, which is unbelievable. And then apart from that, I sort of have these games that I sort of go back to and grind out every now and then, like these free to play games. And on my Nintendo Switch, it's a game called Pokemon Quest.
Oh yeah.
Which is that like cube Pokemon game. And
I don't like the look of that.
I was stuck on this level for ages. It's like a dungeon crawler one, but like it's like automatic attacks and stuff like that. And I've rolled credits on it. There's still like a post scene where you can now go collect the legendary ones, and that's sort of what I'm doing now.
Classic Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just sort of like a little side mobile game, pretty much, that I've been playing.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, I've got nothing else that I've been playing. But on the note of games and like being difficult for people to pick up and the analog stick thing. When I first got into Call of Duty, which was obviously COD 4, my favourite game of all time, 2007, I don't have any brothers. I have a sister who I used to play a lot of games with, a lot of PS2. But around 2007 is when she met her current boyfriend, so they've been together a hell of a long time. And she wasn't home much because she was always with him, which was fair enough. And I wanted someone to play Call of Duty 4 split screen with. And my stepdad had a PS1, like the original PS1, didn't have a PS2, but he was always like kind of interested, and he used to watch me play games like Gran Turismo. So I was like, well, let's see if we can play this together, and we can play, you know, split screen Call of Duty. And he just could not fathom the analog sticks. He kept trying to move with the directional pad, and I was like, no, you got to use the sticks. And it was, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I've never thought of that.
PS1 didn't launch with
no, it didn't launch.
sticks,
That's what I mean.
Do you remember you could turn the analog sticks off?
Yeah,
that
with
was
the
a
button
weird little feature. Yeah.
Well, not all games needed it. So.
Well, I tried to get my dad to play once. He'd never been into gaming at all. I think I was playing like a Need for Speed game, and I was like, well, he's a car salesman, he loves cars. Let's see if he can play this racing game. It's pretty simple, like, you know, that's drive, that's brake. Like, I feel like
and that's steer.
Yeah, I feel like
it's pretty
you can get your head around that. If as a driver, he just couldn't. Like, even that, it was just like driving into walls. He was going backwards. So, okay.
So, my stepdad got into driving games, and then he does the thing that you also said about where you lean with the car.
Yeah.
So he's like holding the D-pad in his hand. D-pad? Wow. He's holding the controller in his hand and fully like leaning all in his chair, like all over the room.
Everyone knows it makes all the difference.
Oh, it really does. It really helps. And the harder you press the button as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the harder you press that button, the faster the car will go. No. Anyway, let's move on to the main topic. So, I said at the very start, this is part 1. It is episode 17. The next episode will be episode 18. But that will be part 2 of this podcast, in a way. Because we're doing E3 predictions. E3 is a little under a month away. And this episode is going to be my predictions. And then episode 2, or episode 18, part 2, is your predictions.
It is indeed.
So the reason for me going first is because I know less than you, and I therefore have less predictions, because going into this, all I knew was that Sony aren't there. Other than that, I knew very little about what to and what not to expect about E3. So let me just grab my mobile telecommunication device.
Oh, why don't you do that?
Yep.
So I've sort of done it, I presume, differently to you. I've gone and done some pretty solid predictions for every company who's going to be there, and then I've done some pretty outrageous ones that are a little like a bit of a hit and hope, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, Sony aren't going to be there. EA are doing their EA Play thing. It's not actually at E3, but they're going to have live streams and announcements.
Hollywood
and
Palladium.
Stuff. It was
bougie as fuck.
Just across the road, basically. I don't know.
But still. Like...
So they're essentially at E3, and then we've got Bethesda again, Square Enix,
Devolver.
Ubisoft, Devolver, they do quite funny ones. I haven't used any of that for my prediction, nor the PC one or the VR one. Then we've obviously got Nintendo Direct as well. So no Sony.
No Sony.
I've got a Sony prediction though.
Okay.
Yeah, stick around and find out.
Well, my predictions are more based on games rather than companies. So I've got a list of about 12 or 13 whatever predictions, as I say, mainly based on games and what we're going to see, what we're probably not going to see. There's one in there that's kind of like you say, a hit and hope, more wishful thinking. It's something I've mentioned on the podcast before, to be honest, so it's not for long time listeners, which is no one. It won't be a surprise, but which means it won't be a surprise to you, basically.
Okay.
But we'll begin with probably the biggest prediction, the hottest take, but it's not really. I think Microsoft are going to announce their next console. I think they are going to have a physical console, and the launch titles are going to be Halo Infinite, Gears 5, and a new Forza.
So by a physical console, you mean it's still going to have physical discs?
It's going to have physical discs.
Okay.
It's going to launch with those 3 games, which have been like flagship Microsoft games for years now. It's going to be a box, an Xbox specifically.
In the shape of an X.
In the shape of an X. Don't know what they're going to call it. I do think it's going to be considerably smaller than what we're used to. I think it's going to be like GameCube sized.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be as chunky as like a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Xbox One was pretty chunky, wasn't it? That first one. I think that...
Well, it's about the same as the PS4, to be honest. But even like slim versions of the current gen are not that small. Whereas if you think to the GameCube...
That power brick. Have you seen that Xbox power brick? It's fucking huge.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very small. I think it's going to be like marketed as like an inoffensive thing to just have on your TV stand or whatever. And I think it's going to be physical games still. I think maybe they might announce two. One that is physical games, one that's download only, like the new Xbone.
What's that new one called?
Oh, I don't know. Digital, I don't know.
All digital. It's like
all digital, something like that.
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah.
I just think there's a big enough demand for physical copies. I think to relate it to music, I think vinyl shows that.
Yeah, that's true.
In the sense that people still want, and Blu-ray sales are still pretty good as well.
Do you know what I want to just mention?
Go on.
I've been collecting vinyl for about only 3 or 4 years now, and every single time I have sort of shown off my vinyl collection to Matt, he's been like, "Oh, why you got vinyl?" He's only just gone and picked up his first vinyl this week or last week.
Getting my second one tomorrow. But the difference is for me is I'm not going to be like you. I'm not going to collect them because I don't care. I'm buying ones that I like the artwork for.
Well, I mean, I don't collect them.
I've specially ordered one specifically because I
don't collect them. I've got a massive collection on my mum's. No, because I don't collect. There's no like one specific band I collect. Anyway, this is getting off topic. Yeah, they do. People are massive nerds. They're like, they need all the variations of like.
But that's true. But
I don't know. Anyway,
the Metallica box set.
Not a music podcast.
£200. No, not a music podcast. But
yet.
What do you think on that then? You seem surprised that I think there's going to be a physical, like disc. It's not a tray, is it? But like the
I can't quite remember my Xbox predictions, but
okay.
Check out episode 2.
Yeah, and we'll find out
of our podcast, and then you can hear our predictions. Maybe they've somewhat changed for Matt over the course of this little journey we're on.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think
the games
Halo
Infinite
is a pretty good shout.
Yeah.
I've actually got a prediction similar to this, so I'll sort of get into it more on my part.
I just think that we know Halo Infinite's coming. We're almost certain that Gears 5 is coming. Forza seems likely. And they are, like I say, they're 3 flagship games or 3 flagship series for Microsoft. It just makes sense to me.
Are they going to be launch titles?
Yeah. Launch titles. I did say that in the prediction.
Well, no, I was just checking.
I'm glad you're paying attention.
So they're going to blow their load.
Yeah.
Their 3 biggest.
Well, because they lost this generation, didn't they?
Fair enough.
I think they lost it considerabily.
I mean, we know Gears is supposedly coming out 2019, but I've got a prediction on that, which I'll...
Okay.
Yeah, I like the look of Gears 5 actually. Yeah, I can somewhat see that. Is it going to be a release date, you reckon? With this, or is it just a little tease?
I think
just a little nip slip.
I don't know. I feel like they might have it ready before Christmas. The cynic in me is saying, you know, this is going to be out in November. Okay. So then it's there for Christmas and it's the better. I think they know that Sony aren't ready. So they're going to try and get in there early doors at a decent price point, get it ready for Christmas, ship it, job done.
That was actually
Console War 1.
That was actually my prediction on episode 2. Was that it would be out this year and then the PlayStation would be out next year.
Yeah.
I disagree with you. I don't think Sony aren't ready. I think Sony don't need to be ready. I think they're ready to go, but the PS4 is still just selling gangbusters. It's about to hit 100 million. It's going to become the second best selling console of all time. It's like GTA 5. It's like they don't need to do anything with it at the moment.
It's never out of the top 10.
They don't need GTA 6 yet because everyone's still playing GTA 5.
Yeah, it's mental.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's just my...
nice prediction.
I know. Thank you. Moving on. The next few are all about Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, depending on your choice of pronunciation. First things first, I think we're all pretty confident that Watch Dogs 3 is coming. And there's been some rumours floating around that it's going to be set in our dear old city of London. However,
Oi, Governor!
I don't think it's going to be. I really don't. And
Jason
I don't know.
Schreier.
What, has he said?
I think so.
Has he?
Possibly.
Oh. Well, anyway, I'm sticking to my guns. I just don't think it will. Because the first two are based in, one's Seattle and the other one's San Francisco?
I think the first one's Chicago. But to be honest, all those American cities are the same to me.
I don't know, it just seems like a massive shift. And I don't know how they'd pull it off, to be honest. Saying that, I don't really know too much about Watch Dogs.
There was a massive difference between Watch Dogs 1 and 2, though. There was such a massive vibe difference.
I don't know if it's pessimism, because we've said before we would like a game set in London. I just don't think it will. There's just something in the back of my mind that's like, no, not going to happen.
Where do you think it will be then?
Just somewhere in America, another American city. I wouldn't be surprised if it's New York, but then again,
they've had the division there.
The division's there, yeah. So maybe not. I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere like LA. Maybe even like a wildcard city that is massive but just never gets games set there. Somewhere like Texas, or like
Phoenix,
or Boston. Yeah, Phoenix, really.
I don't know anything about America.
What about Vegas?
I was just about to say Vegas would be sick for that kind of game.
Watch Dogs Vegas, that'd be, because there's all sorts of crime that goes on in Vegas.
Exactly.
Okay, well you heard it here first. Watch Dogs 3 is going to be set in Las Vegas.
Maybe they will push that one for Watch Dogs 4.
Maybe. Ubisoft, if you're listening, royalties can be made out to us. I was going to invent
just write a check to us.
Yeah, just write a check.
It'll find us. It'll definitely will.
I was going to think of a comedic address, but I thought, no, I'm not that funny. Next, another Ubisoft one. Ubisoft. What do you prefer, Ubi or Ubi?
I don't even know anymore.
I think Ubi. Yeah.
Ubisoft.
So we know that they're releasing brand new IPs, 3 or 4. Not necessarily brand new IPs, but they're
Ubisoft.
Not Ubisoft. I should probably explain what's just happened. So I'm sat here in just my underwear and a t-shirt because it's sweltering in my room, and Joe's just stroked my leg and said Ubisoft.
That's the best thing I've ever said.
Yeah, actually, there's some absolutely brilliant one-liners in the FIFA video.
I'm swelling up a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we know that they are releasing 3 to 4 AAA titles in the current or the coming fiscal year. Oh no, it is the current fiscal year, isn't it? It's March to...
I think it's March.
It's 2019 to 2020, March. And I think one of them is going to be developed by Ubisoft Quebec, who made Assassin's Creed Syndicate and more recently Odyssey. And I think on that mantra of Odyssey, they're going to be making a brand new, heavily RPG-focused game set within a historical setting, but it's not going to be related to AC at all. I think they're just going to give Quebec free reign to just come up with something.
Spoke about this, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of where this has come from. Is because I didn't realise that Quebec made Syndicate and then Odyssey, but he's quite right in that they are two of the weakest Assassin's Creed games. As much as I love Odyssey as a game in itself, I think they are a studio that clearly wants to make an RPG. They can make a very good RPG. They just need to cut the ties to AC.
I can't see them doing a historical thing. I feel like that's just sort of shitting on your own shit, whatever the phrase is.
Maybe, but I think Assassin's Creed will sell regardless because of people like me.
I guess actually they've got that Skull and Bones game, haven't they? Which is basically...
I've not made any predictions about that.
Which is basically Black Flag. So that's kind of...
It's Black Flag crossed with Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. So maybe they would. Maybe they're not afraid of doing like a Sony with Last of Us and Days Gone. And just changing the name of the zombies.
Perhaps.
We'll see.
Any more to say about that? Probably not. I mean, I haven't got much to say myself, to be honest. I just think they're going to make a heavily mechanical, stat-based RPG. And it's going to be, just a brand new thing.
Interesting.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed, I think they are going to confirm the Viking rumours. They're basically not rumours anymore, are they? I mean, it was in The Division 2, there was a poster that made it fairly obvious. I think your man that you mentioned a minute ago, Jason Schreier, I think he's tweeted about it a couple of times. I think it's all but confirmed it's going to be a Viking game. But I don't think the title is going to be Ragnarok. I think that's a working title. I think it's uninventive. I think it's boring.
It's a bit too
safe.
Because we've had Thor Ragnarok.
Exactly.
So there's a kind of like that, a bit too close.
Exactly.
But then again, Assassin's Creed Odyssey just came out after Mario Odyssey, so I don't know if they're too afraid of clashing there.
But the thing is with that is they are two completely unrelated things.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas Assassin's Creed now likes to, dip its toes into mythical and fantastical themes, which obviously Marvel is all made up. So I feel like to have a game named Ragnarok when there's a film that's along similar-ish lines, especially given that Thor is a Viking whatever, then I don't know, it's okay. It's going to be a Viking game, I'm almost certain, but I'm going to be, more than anything, I'll be disappointed if it's called Ragnarok, but I don't have any alternatives. Probably because I don't know enough about the era.
Assassin's Creed Vikings.
Yes, perhaps.
Assassin's Creed Nui.
Maybe it will have... Let's get Jurgen listening to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yergi baby. Maybe it will go back to being numbered as well, and this will be Assassin's Creed 5. Ooh. Maybe it won't have a title, or perhaps it will be like Black Flag and it will be Assassin's Creed 5 something.
No, I think all Western games, all Western like RPGs, they stop with the numbers after like 4 or 5.
Yeah, they
Seen
really
it with
do.
Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Halo has just stopped now. I guess Gears is still going on. But like,
what did Halo stop at? 3?
No, Halo went to 5 or 6, but now they've got Halo Infinite.
ODST was Halo 5, wasn't it?
No, that was Halo 3. There was Halo 3 there was Halo 3, then Halo 3 ODST, and then you went Halo Reach, and then it went Halo 4, 5. I don't think there's a 6, and then it's Infinite.
Oh.
But I don't think they go as
Shows
far
what
as
I
like
know.
because it's kind of like that thing, isn't it? It's like when a game's got a number in it, it's sort of like I feel like it puts people off playing it, because like that's why I've never really dived into the Final Fantasy series, because I'm like, oh fuck, it's Final Fantasy 15. I've got to go play 15 other games to understand this one.
Well, didn't that start on like 6 though? I swear there's not Final Fantasy 2 or 3.
I have no idea.
Maybe there is.
But I mean, that's still 10 games.
There's a lot of games. Yeah.
So that's sort of been my thing with Assassin's Creed and not getting back into it. But
yeah, fair enough.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is that what you've got to say on it?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay, so it turns out that Final Fantasy 2 is indeed a thing.
Well, I mean, it makes sense.
It
Although
does,
there was
but
never an
I haven't-
iPhone 2 or something like that.
iPhone started on 3, didn't it?
They had the iPhone, and then it was like iPhone
Yeah.
3, but I think that was because it was iPhone 3G.
So I'm just looking this up. So Final Fantasy video games. Final Fantasy 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
That's how numbers work.
It is, yeah. Sorry for shitting on... who makes those games? Square.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my Assassin's Creed one. My final Ubisoft one is also my kind of wishful thinking one. And I mentioned a minute ago that there's 3 or 4 brand new AAA titles coming out. I think there's going to be another one which is sort of a new IP, but it's not theirs. But I think given the breadth of talent and all their subsidiaries and whatnot, they can make a lot of different types of game. And I really, really hope that, because we've seen who's in the film now. I'm leading up to this to see if you can guess it. So we've got, it's going to be, well, you're going to get it straight away now. It's Daniel Craig's send-off. There it is. It's Daniel Craig's send-off. Rami Malek's playing the villain. You've got Ray Fiennes. Ben Whishaw, I think, is a brilliant Q. He's way better than John Cleese ever was, and Cleese is a legend. And it's just about time we had a fucking decent James Bond game. So, Ubi, make it happen, please. I know it used to be EA's license. They made
What was the
like
most recent
Nightfire.
one? Probably like Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace was the most recent one. That was Treyarch, and therefore, I guess, Activision.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone owns it. So it's gone from EA to clearly now Activision, but I don't know if they still have it.
Yeah.
So why not? Come on, Ubisoft. Someone.
Well, maybe that can just be a someone prediction.
Yeah, I guess. But I think because they're announcing 3 or 4 games within the coming year, and obviously the next Bond film is releasing next year.
I mean,
I don't know. It just...
I can see the people... I can see them like mechanically being able to make a really good game, like people behind like Ghost Recon. But I just feel it crosses swords again with Ghost Recon, Division, and especially Splinter Cell.
No. Yeah, thank you. I forgot my own fucking point. The reason I think it's going to be Ubisoft is because of Splinter Cell. I feel like get the team... well, I mean, it's been a while since a Splinter Cell game, but get the team that made Chaos Theory and Pandora Tomorrow and just get them to make a Bond game. But then also get a decent studio that can make vehicle mechanics, because there's a lot of driving in Bond.
Aston Martin.
I knew there was a reason I was attributing it to Ubi, and that's why. It's because of Splinter Cell.
Tom Clancy's James Bond.
Yes.
Famously wrote James Bond.
He did, yeah. Actually, the guy that wrote James Bond discovered penicillin.
Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought it was Mr. Penicillin.
No, I think that's true anyway.
Doesn't sound true.
Yeah, I think so.
Why would he discover penicillin?
I don't know. How the hell do you spell a penicillin discoverer?
Whoever did find it literally accidentally did it, didn't he?
It's Dr. Alexander Fleming. Oh, it's probably his dad.
Well,
Sorry about that non-fact.
Famously for...
Might have been his uncle.
No one's called Fleming, so they're all related pretty much.
Yeah, they must be.
Must be.
Shall we move on? Because I've just kind of embarrassed myself and I keep punching my computer as well by accident. Onto a franchise that I love, and everyone that listens to this
knows. Is it Assassin's Creed?
No, I've talked about that already. It's the other one. What's the other game series that...
Kingdom Hearts.
No. It's a
Call of Duty.
No, it's a game that I play... Well...
Pokemon!
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Pokemon Sword and Shield, we know is coming out later this year for the Nintendo Switch. We know that it's set in a somewhat English/European setting. There's a couple of people that said it's set in Paris, but no, it's not, because X and Y was set in Parisian-themed locale. I don't really know how much we've seen of Sword and Shield other than just a bit of the setting and the starters, but it would make sense for Nintendo and Game... What are they called? Game Freak. To reveal more of the actual mons from the region. So we'll probably see the flying type, which for you is the Pidgey of the region. We'll probably see the Rattata. No. We'll probably see a Rattata of the region. I only say not Spearow because generally speaking, the early flying type has 3 stages of evolution and Spearow only has 2.
Such a fucking pokey nerd.
It's a wonder that I've ever had any form of feeling. Yeah, it really is. I've done it a few times.
Well done.
Yeah, it went well.
How do you do it?
I'll tell you later. I'll show you if you want. We're on my bed.
Ooh.
So I think there's gonna be, more actual Pokemon are going to be revealed. I think they released info the other day saying that there's going to be a much larger scale of trainer customization, which is something we've not seen before. It's always been like, this is your character. You can, buy them different clothes, and then in Sun and Moon, I think you could get different haircuts. But there's never been too much. So
I think you can do that in Let's Go. I'm not entirely sure.
Probably, that would make sense. But speaking of like Let's Go and Sun and Moon, so the latter changed the formula, and rather than gyms and gym badges and then the Elite Four, it was trials set over the 4 islands, which some people loved, some people didn't love. I'm probably in the camp that didn't love it. I thought it was a nice change, but overall I think Sun and Moon, as much as I love the setting, I think those games are far too easy, and the trials are just kind of proof of that. I think they're going to go back to gyms, or it might be something brand new, and I think we're going to see that. We're going to see
what there be random encounters?
Yes.
Okay.
There will be random encounters. There will be trainer battles. There will be evolutions. There will be shops.
Will there be Pokemon?
There will. There might be Nurse Joy.
Oh, she's hot.
Ooh.
I can't remember if she is or not.
I mean, she's animated.
Okay.
She's not real. So yeah, a bit more on Pokemon Sword and Shield. Oh, and we'll find out the name of the region as well, because I don't think... Do we? No. Hang on.
I'm pretty sure we do know.
Here's the third bit of Googling in
you don't even know Pokemon, mate.
No, I don't. What's the region called? Region.
Well, why you look that up? I'm just filling a little bit. I went to go see Detective Pikachu the other day.
It's called Galar.
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 That's a bit weird.
Galar. Yeah, it's a bit weird. That.
Detective Pikachu, yeah. Very, very good. I actually really enjoyed it.
Well, I'll go and see it eventually.
I actually think I enjoyed it more than Avengers Endgame, to be honest.
Really?
It was funny. It was like, I don't really like the Deadpool films, but it was kind of like the Deadpool films but with Pokemon. And the animation was sick. I loved it. There was really funny bits. Really good film.
Because I've been trying to avoid it completely, because the person I could have gone with didn't want to go with me, which is just mean, isn't it? And I didn't want to go on my own, because I feel like it's crossing a line when you go as a 24-year-old man on your own to the cinema to see what is effectively a kid's film.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The film like this, there aren't kids there. It's the same with, like, I went to go see Toy Story 3 in the cinema the day it came out. There was no kids there.
Yeah, no,
that's our film.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Toy Story 4 this year. Not a Toy Story podcast, sadly. Wish we were.
Oh, that would be a good podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just Detective Pikachu thing. All I know about it, oh yeah, this is what I started saying a second ago, is that there's a scene that apparently Game Freak didn't want in the movie, but it happened anyway, which involves Lickitung.
Something to do with Lickitung. Yeah,
I
saw the article, or like saw the headline of the article before, and then I was waiting for it in the film, and then I was like, was that it? I guess that was it.
I've just realised they're not even called Game Freak anymore. They're called the Pokemon Company. I'm pretty sure.
No, I think there's two different companies. I think the Pokemon Company is the Pokemon Company. Game Freak is developer, because Game Freak are doing a game called The Village.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So it was the Pokemon Company didn't want this Lickitung scene.
So I was kind of like, was that it? So it wasn't really like obvious to me.
Okay.
I don't really know why they wouldn't want it.
Maybe it'll be obvious to me as someone who knows more about it.
Possibly, but...
Speaking of knowing about things, how much do you know about Cyberpunk 2077?
Well, I know a little bit.
Has there been gameplay reveal?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's about...
I know, because it's set to release, I looked this up, it's set to release in June, which is, I mean, not only is that 8 days away.
It's not.
It says, when you look it up, it says it's going to be released in June.
I don't know if that's a placeholder, but it's definitely, it hasn't even got a release date.
Oh. Okay, well, I feel like we're going to see perhaps a release date then. As well as that, I think there's going to be a DLC like roadmap.
Okay.
Because it just seems like that kind of game. And I think CD Projekt Red aren't scared to do that, like a lot of developers would be, because I believe it's called Blood and Wine for The Witcher 3.
Blood and Wine, there's another one as well.
Yeah, they're basically like the most revered DLC things ever. One of the few developers and companies who people actually trust when they say, oh, we've got DLC coming out. So I wouldn't be surprised if they reveal that, you know, in 7 or 8 months down the line of Cyberpunk, there's going to be a new episode or whatever. I feel like they're going to just lay out the lines of when to expect the game.
They're definitely going to be there. They've confirmed as much. Last year, there was a behind closed doors gameplay demo of a level, which they then did release a couple of months later.
That's pretty cool.
It's about 40 minutes long. It looks incredible.
Yeah, it does look kind of cool, that game.
It's one of those games I'm trying not to hype up.
Yeah, I know
it's going to be great because it's like
Project Red.
Yeah, they seem to be the new kids on the block. Polish developers actually seem to be the new people in town.
Yeah, who else?
What are they called? I can't remember. They did Dying Light. They're doing Dying Light 2 as well.
What are they called? I don't know, can't think of it.
Let's do some filler.
That's fine, you do that. I think CD Projekt Red, Holly Bennett works for them now, doesn't she?
She does.
She left Access for that.
Techland.
Techland, that's the one. So yeah, I feel like that's what's going to happen with Cyberpunk. It's a game I'm looking forward to, but likewise, not going to overhype it because I don't want another Days Gone situation.
Indeed, yeah.
Where I have not purchased.
But then again, that's what I did with Days Gone. I was like, I saw the gameplay reveal and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in on this game. This looks six. It looked like 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
This looks sick." And then I was like, "I don't want to watch anymore."
Yeah.
But maybe if I had watched more, I'd have been like, "Actually, no, this isn't for me."
Yeah, fair enough.
That's my problem.
That's a catch-22, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Here's an interesting one. So I was reading an article to kind of help me with this earlier, and supposedly there's been confirmed sessions for people to have hands-on time with a number of games. However, there's been a confirmed screening, but not hands-on time, with Jedi Fallen Order. So I think we might get something similar to what we had last year with The Last of Us 2, where it was just basically like test demo footage, wasn't it? Showing off that level with Ellie where she was like skulking around and stabbing some bad. I think we're just going to see something like that. I think it's going to be really high res, intense gameplay for 3 or 4 minutes and nothing else.
I think that's what we'll get at E3, but I think we'll get something different at EA Play. Wait, hold out for my predictions on that.
Okay. But Jedi Fallen Order, I mean, we've said it multiple times on this podcast, we can't wait for that because it's about time there was a good Star Wars game.
Yeah.
On a different note, because I've talked about things that are going to be there, so this is something that I don't think is going to be there.
Ooh.
And it's Sony. No, I'm kidding.
Switch up.
We know they're not going to be there.
Imagine if Xbox just were like, oh, we're not going to be there either.
Shouldn't have to. That's a bit late in the day, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, good one.
Pull a fast one.
I don't think the Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to appear. And I think that's going to... What? Okay. I think that's going to send a lot of people into a frenzy saying, oh, they aren't making it after all. Oh my god, maybe we got too excited because Final Fantasy VII Remake's not actually going to happen. I think eventually it will, because... I mean, that's a massive cock tease. If they're just like, oh, we're remaking Final Fantasy VII, and then even in 10 years' time, they don't do it. But I don't think we're going to see it this year.
If it's not there, I will chop off my left testicle.
Really?
In the latest State of Play, which is PlayStation's version of Nintendo Direct, they had a trailer and we're like, more information in June, which can only be E3.
Well, it can and it can't, because Sony aren't there.
Square Enix are, though.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy is a PlayStation exclusive? Is it not?
I think 7 Remake is, but not all the Final Fantasy games are.
Okay, well, we'll see about that. We clearly disagree. That one was more... That's me just taking a shot in the dark. Because
dislike this video because he's
dislike.
Unbelievably wrong. Doesn't know anything.
That one is a shot in the dark, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be there. I think it's going to send people into a frenzy of it's not actually happening. But then next year there'll probably be lots more details on it because it's not been that long since 15 launched, is it? A year, 2 years.
They're working on that for so long.
Yeah.
But they're also releasing 7 episodically, so.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
So anyway, tune in like halfway through June for me chopping off my left testicle.
Yeah, that'll be a great episode. The most listens yet.
For listening to someone chopping off their testicle. We don't do video. Just boom, boom, boom.
Can it be me chopping it off?
Nah.
Just me going Anyway, this is gone well off track. Sticking with Square Enix, though.
Full of scrot in this episode.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to reveal not 1, but 2 upcoming DLCs. DLC. I think one's going to be relatively soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even like, oh, this is coming next week. And then I think one will be nearer the end of the year. They're going to include new Disney worlds. I think there's going to be 2 per drop. This is I've gone very specific on this. I don't really know why.
I don't know anything about this. So
no.
Maybe I think they did Toy Story, didn't they?
Yeah, Toy Story's in the main game. Story.
There's some into Toy Story 4. I don't know how it really works in this game, but
so Kingdom Hearts works, and you fly around in your ship to different Disney worlds. So obviously I don't know all of them in 3 because I haven't played it yet. But there's Toy Story, Pirates of the Caribbean, Frozen, and then in like Kingdom Hearts 1, there's a Jungle Book one. Sorry, not Jungle Book. Tarzan. There's oh god, I can't think. There's Nostromo, which is the whale from Snow White. There's
a whale in Snow White?
No, what am I saying? Pinocchio. Oh. I'm having an absolute mare. My head's just full of Disney stuff. What else? There's Hercules Land, also known as Olympus Coliseum.
Snow so White basically, and the 7 whales.
You fly around, go into these different Disney areas, and I think there's going to be 2 of each. I think there's going to be an Incredibles themed world.
Star Wars.
Possibly. I don't think so.
It seems
because
bit out of...
it would be a bit stupid to have, in terms of like Star Wars lore, it would be a bit stupid to have a Simpsons isn't owned by Disney. Simpsons is owned by Universal and Fox.
Yeah, Disney have just bought Fox.
Okay. Well, no, I can't see that happening. Yeah, honestly, I don't really know. But I think there's just going to be two of each. Two of each? No, 2 Disney Worlds in each DLC drop. There's going to be new weapons. There might even be new enemy types, or there's going to be like new bosses and stuff like that. They're probably going to be, I don't know, like 10 hours long each, if that, maybe a bit less. Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I think there's a lot of speculation, given that they're not even like confirmed. They're rumoured heavily, or at least one is rumoured that there's going to be Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC. It might even be confirmed, to be honest. But I just think there's going to be 2 for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, 2 announced anyway.
Why not?
Would you like... My final 2 predictions are very similar. In fact, they're staggeringly similar.
Okay.
So I can lump them into one if you want, and then we can discuss.
Why not?
I'll tease you with it, shall I? I think there's going to be 2 loved series that are going to get either rebooted or remastered or revitalised, whatever. Both with titles... both with entries in the series that have Underground in the subheadings and are also revered as the most popular and best in their respective series.
Is it Need for Speed and Tony Hawk's?
It is, correct. I think both of those series are going to get, just announced or rebooted or whatever. I think Tony Hawk's a bit of a wild card suggestion, because it's been quite a few years since a Hawk game.
I could see a Tony Hawk's game being announced, but
yes,
there was when Pro Skater 5 came out. I remember there being this thing where the license had run out with Tony Hawk's and Activision.
Well, that's why they rushed.
So they rushed it out.
Yeah.
And I reckon Activision probably own the license to Underground, but I could see a Tony Hawk's game being announced.
I feel like he has come back into the public eye a lot recently. He's bigging himself, well, not bigging himself up, but he's getting a lot of like Twitter clout, as the kids say.
He's quite funny on Twitter.
He is quite funny on Twitter. He's making himself a bit more relevant, and again, me being cynical, I feel like maybe it's all part of like this marketing ploy to make Tony Hawk relevant again, and thus sell copies of the Tony Hawk games. And if they slap a big old thug, which is of course Tony Hawk's Underground for the uninitiated,
the best Tony Hawk's.
Exactly. If they slap that on the title, then surely people will buy it out of curiosity alone.
Yeah.
Personally, I like American Wasteland and Project 8. However, I wouldn't dislike a Thug remaster.
One of my favourite ones was American Skate Land, which was the Nintendo DS version of American Wasteland.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Cell shaded. I don't normally like cell shaded, do I?
No, you don't. You're anti-cell shaded.
It's a very good game until someone stole my Nintendo DS with the game inside it.
Who was that?
No idea. I lost it apparently. I reckon my brother had a house party and I think someone took it.
Someone's wrong. Yeah, I can see Tony Hawk coming back.
There was a skate inspired game announced last year. I can't remember what it's called. I think it was on the PlayStation 1, possibly Xbox. But there's definitely a market for the more arcade version.
I think so. I certainly just don't bundle it with a peripheral. We don't want to pretend to ride a skateboard.
Well, I feel like
everyone's X.
realised peripherals suck anyway.
Peripherals are shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I said that when I dropped mine.
I could see a Tony Hawk VR game being announced, something like that.
God, that would be awful.
The Need for Speed is a pretty good shout. I feel like they tried something similar recently. They had, I think, 2015 was just the Need for Speed, I think it was called, and that looked pretty similar to the Underground games. But they haven't done one.
And they remade
in a while.
No, it has been a while.
I think it's 2017.
Maybe
there was one last year.
I think 2017 was when they released Need for Speed Most Wanted, but it wasn't anything to do with the Most Wanted that I adore. It was just called Most Wanted, and it was along the same lines of like, you're constantly evading police and stuff, but it wasn't, like the blacklist system, or it didn't have these crazy. Because it's a difficult one, because clearly modding cars and body kits and vinyls and paint jobs and all the rest of it are not in vogue anymore. nowhere near as much as they were in the mid-noughties. But I don't think it needs that to still make a good.
I think they need to look
Speed.
more at Forza Horizon series.
Just make the cars classier,
which is
like Forza. Yeah.
Well, because Forza's main series, like the Forza Motorsport series, is the Gran Turismo, whereas the Horizon series is the more open world
arcade
sort of one.
Yeah,
exactly. And there are two recent ones, Australia and the UK. I watched gameplay of those just randomly, just because it's. I don't know, they just look really good. I haven't got an Xbox, so I can't play them.
Forza games
But I could see that happening, because Need for Speed aren't afraid to go back to games, because they had a Hot Pursuit recently, and that was one of the first Need for Speed, was a Hot Pursuit.
It was, yeah.
And then, as I said, there was one called Need for Speed recently.
Yeah, when was the second most wanted? Are you looking... Oh my god,
so
Pro Street. They better not make another game like Pro Street.
I had Pro Street on my DS, I think.
Oh god.
Something like that.
Just Pro Street.
Carbon, that was a good game.
Well, Carbon was just most wanted.
My favourite one was
brother.
Underground 2. I didn't particularly like Most Wanted that much.
Most Wanted is just a phenomenal game.
I just didn't like
it's so good.
The police, to be honest. The whole...
it's brilliant.
So, the Shift ones, that was weird.
Shift was terrible. Can you just get to the bit?
The most recent one was...
Oh, when was the most wanted game?
Need for Speed Payback. The most recent Most Wanted was 2012, actually.
Oh wow, long time ago.
Yeah. Well, these games just come like that, don't they? So there is one scheduled for 2019.
Oh, okay.
So...
okay, maybe that's not as hot of a take as I thought.
It could be.
It's just two franchises that I quite like.
Yeah, I can see it being Underground. I think that's quite a good one.
I feel like it's not a safe bet, but our generation in particular, we like a lot of nostalgic things that remind us of when we weren't adults and when we didn't have bills to pay, and we just kind of went to school and came home and then played video games. And games like Need for Speed Underground and Most Wanted, the original one, and Carbon remind us of those times, and it would be pretty cool to... And like I say, make the cars classier, so I don't think any of us want lightning stripes all over the bonnet anymore, but just, I still like body kits to a certain extent, and I still like, lower the ride height, give me some nice looking rims and stuff like that. And I still like cars in spite of myself.
Yeah, I feel
as much as I don't want to be a car guy, I apparently still am. So
I think they did sort of like a semi-reboot.
Sorry, a what now? Semi?
A semi reboot recently. But I think it's time for like a full reset, and I think that's a good way of going back to it.
Yeah, it's time to change gear. EA.
Nice.
Live life in the fast lane. You got any other driving puns that we can close on?
Handbrake turn.
Nah, okay, it's terrible.
Fill up the tank.
So that was part one, my predictions. Thanks
Shift.
very much. Shift focus. And look in the rear view mirror at the games of your past.
Air conditioning.
Before you exhaust...
I don't know cars.
You exhaust us with these...
That's a good one.
Crap Need for Speed games.
Let's get involvoed with...
We're going down brands now, I like it. Yeah, that was part one. Thanks very much for listening, as always. Join us in part two in, what, a week's time? 2 weeks' time?
2 weeks' time, yeah.
2 weeks' time from this.
I think, if my math is correct, this is coming out... the second part will be coming out the week before E3.
Yeah, whereas this one's kind of like a month or so. Just under a month before.
Something like that, yeah.
But either way, thanks very much for listening to part one. Part two is coming in a couple of weeks' time, even though we're going to record it right now, because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, as always, thanks for listening, and bye for now.
Bye for now.